stuck here. The cops won't bother me. So I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the good things about this particular bike. I've done a lot of criticism of this bike, and I'm very critical about my motorcycles, and I'm critical about everything. But let's talk about the great things of the NC. So the NC, it's got some pretty amazing things, and you would not think, if you saw it on paper, you would not think it's a great bike, but there is some amazing things. Engine is also, it's the worst thing about it, but it's also one of the better things. So first of all, it's a inline 2 engine that sounds very wimpy, but the great thing about this engine for the home mechanic is that the valves are very easy to adjust, because they use the lock and nut adjuster instead of shims. And the great thing is that because it's a 60-degree forward position, you could turn the wheel, remove the radiator, and adjust the valves without any major gas tank removal or anything. It's quite amazing that the engine is so easy to access. Normally, come on, dude. This lady's gotta be slow as shit. Look at this. I knew that this lady was gonna be slow. So the engine on this thing is one of the better things that it has, but it's also the worst, because you get 15 to 20 less horsepower on this bike than you would on a V-Strom 650, which is a lower displacement bike. But because of the engine being so efficient, you also get really good gas mileage. So you get 70 miles to the gallon. So this bike almost gets as good as mileage as a scooter. So, and it's kind of unbelievable that that's the case, because a lot of times motorcycles these days with more power and more displacement are making, you know, very bad mileage. So Toyota Priuses, small economy cars are getting more miles per gallon than bikes, but this thing, you can ride the hell out of it and you are still getting 70 miles to the gallon. So quite an amazing thing if you are a commuter. And Honda was thinking about building this for commuters because it's got very good things for commuting. So engine wise, it's great for commuting and efficiency and for the home mechanic. Another interesting thing that you don't hear a lot about is that because the fuel tank is so low and in the rear, you're kind of sitting on the gas tank, and the engine is so far forward and there's no gas tank up here, this bike feels a lot lighter than what it is. I believe wet, this thing is 470 pounds, but when it's moving, it actually feels a whole lot lighter. It feels very much like maybe a 400cc bike if you're pushing it around. It's something that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, because you see these numbers on paper and you go like, oh, 470 pounds wet. The V-Strom is 480, I think it's 490 or something like that wet, and it's got 20 more horsepower, but yet this bike feels very planted, feels very flickable because the weight is so much lower, and it's very apparent when you are moving it in the garage that if the weight is lower, it's very easy to push it around. And of course, one of the great things about this bike is that the front trunk is up here, and you have a massive cavity for putting in your helmet and gloves and all of these things that normally you would have to get a tank bag. But this bike, if you're a commuter and you need to bring in your lunch and maybe like some small supplies, you just put it in this trunk and that's all you need. Of course, in the back, in the rear passenger seat, is the gas tank, so you can't really store anything there, but you do have the ability of carrying a passenger. I feel that this bike is not that good for riding aggressively. Alright, what are you doing, man? Idiot. Fucking stupid. Oh, what a moron. That guy just stopped in the middle of the road. God damn, it's like... Alright, squids, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye. Kind of stuck here. The cops won't bother me.